The library's community room hummed with soft conversation as folding chairs filled with strangers, neighbors, really, settled into a loose circle. The clink of a coffee cup, a cough, the rustle of jackets. Then the door creaked open. She entered quietly, her arms full. A diaper bag slipping off one shoulder, a bundled baby pressed against her chest, breath visible in the cold. She looked like she'd almost turned back twice before actually stepping through that door. Heads turned. Not unkindly, just curious. She offered a hesitant smile, then whispered to the group leader, "I'm so sorry for bringing her. I didn't have a choice." The baby let out a soft cry, the kind that says more about the world than about hunger. She bounced gently, rocking on her heels, trying to soothe the tiny whimper. Someone offered their chair. Another scooted over. She sat on the edge, careful, as if unsure whether she was allowed to take up space. Her eyes scanned the room. Worn faces, open notebooks, stories etched in wrinkles and tired posture. The leader gave a welcoming nod, but Maya, no one knew her name yet, stayed quiet. She dug in the bag, pulled out a bottle. The baby suckled, calmed. In that moment, she was just another mother doing her best. But there was a tension in her shoulders that didn't quite soften, even when her baby closed its eyes. She had whispered an apology, but the room had no idea what story had just walked in. When it was her turn to speak, she hesitated. The group had been going around, sharing names and a little about why they'd come. Most spoke of loneliness, recent losses, struggles with purpose. Honest, raw, but expected. She cleared her throat, eyes fixed on a stain in the carpet. "My name is Maya," she said softly. "This is Layla," she added, nodding toward the sleeping bundle in her arms. There was a pause, she could have stopped there. But something cracked open in her. Maybe it was the warmth in the room, or the way no one looked away. "I didn't plan to talk," she continued. "I just needed somewhere warm. Somewhere kind. You could have heard a pin drop. We slept in my car last night," she said, eyes now blinking fast. "It's been 2 weeks since I left. I didn't think I would. I said I'd never stay with someone who hit me, but," her voice wavered. "You think you'll be strong. Until you have to be." No one interrupted. Not a whisper. "I had nowhere to go. I tried a shelter, but they were full. This was the only place open that didn't ask questions." Maya smiled bitterly. "And I still brought an apology in with me, like surviving was rude." Silence, but not empty. Full of breath held tight, of hearts breaking quietly. No one had expected this story. Not from the woman who whispered her way into the room like she didn't belong. But now, no one doubted that she did. The silence after Maya's words stretched long, but it wasn't awkward. It was heavy. Reverent. Like the room was holding its breath, unsure how to respond to a truth that raw. Some people looked down, others blinked hard, their eyes shimmering. One man fidgeted with his keys. A young woman beside Maya reached out but paused, not wanting to startle her. Then, slowly, a woman across the circle stood up. She was in her 70s, stooped, silver-haired, wrapped in a hand-knit shawl. Her name was Helen. She had spoken earlier about losing her husband last year and how silence filled her house now like fog. Helen walked over, quietly, gently, as if approaching a frightened bird. She knelt beside Maya, one hand resting lightly on her arm. "Sweetheart," she said, her voice thick with emotion, "you don't need to apologize. You need a village." She looked around the circle. "And I think we just found one." The room stirred, like a wave had passed through it. People shifted, sat up straighter. Eyes met across the circle. Maya stared at Helen, lips slightly parted, like she wasn't sure she'd heard her right. Helen reached up and softly brushed Layla's blanket. "She's safe now. You both are." Tears welled in Maya's eyes, but she didn't look away. For the first time since she'd entered, she seemed to truly see the room, and realized it was seeing her back. Not with judgment, but with open arms. That's when everything started to change. The energy in the room shifted, quiet empathy began to take form. What had started as a simple support meeting was now something else entirely. A woman in the back, a single mom named Trina, raised her hand. "I've got a spare crib in storage. My daughter just outgrew it last month. It's yours if you want it." "I've got diapers," someone else said. "Size 1. Unopened box. I can bring them tomorrow." A young man in a hoodie, who hadn't said a word all night, spoke up softly. "My cousin runs a women's shelter. They hold an emergency room open sometimes. I'll text her now." Even the group leader, Michael, a school counselor, was already flipping through his notepad, scribbling down names, resources, numbers. One woman stood and crossed the room to Maya. "May I?" she asked, gesturing to Layla. Maya hesitated, then nodded. The woman gently took the baby, cradling her with practiced hands while Maya slumped back in her chair, just for a moment. Her shoulders fell an inch. Her breathing slowed. She looked like someone remembering what safety felt like. A cup of tea was placed in her hands. Someone offered her a ride. Someone else handed her a folded bill, cash, no questions asked. Maya didn't say much. She didn't have to. Her eyes, glistening with disbelief and gratitude, said everything. In that little library room, with second-hand chairs and flickering fluorescent lights, something sacred was happening. Strangers became a net. A safety one. A human one. And it was holding. The next meeting came 3 days later. The same room. Same circle. But this time, Maya arrived early. She looked different, not just in clothes, though the oversized sweatshirt had been swapped for a clean jacket someone had given her. It was something in her face. Lighter. More certain. Layla was nestled in a soft gray carrier strapped to Maya's chest, sound asleep. Conversations quieted as she walked in. A few people smiled, waved. She smiled back. Helen stood and gave her a gentle hug. "Look at you," she whispered. "Told you we were your village." Maya chuckled softly, then cleared her throat. "I wrote something," she said, pulling a folded piece of paper from her pocket. "I'm not a writer or anything, but I wanted to say thank you." "Really say it." The room quieted again, but this time with anticipation. She unfolded the paper, hands only slightly trembling. "I came here because I had nowhere else to go. I thought I was escaping. Running. But I didn't expect what I found: warmth, safety, people who didn't even blink before helping a stranger." She paused, voice thickening. "You didn't just give me things. You gave me permission to believe again. In kindness. In people. In myself." She looked around, locking eyes with Helen. "You saved us without even knowing our names. I thought this was an end. But it turns out, you gave me a beginning." Someone clapped. Then everyone did. And for the first time in a long time, Maya didn't feel like she was surviving. She felt home.